Please remember, none of this is financial advice. Often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else.
You are right that I feel very confident that we'll see a decision from the courts in this year. In fact, I think I would guess it'll be in weeks, not months. I would guess it'll be in weeks, not months. In weeks, not months. There's some decisions that happened last week that you may have read about that the judge ruled against the SEC's effort to redact certain information about a very kind of infamous speech that the then director of corporate finance, a guy named Bill Hinman, gave, talking about why ETH, in his view, was not a security. And the court just ruled last week that the notes and emails associated with that are going to be made public and should be public around June 13th. So
Garlinghouse saw the unredacted emails. He knows the truth. His actions speak with confidence. The recent acquisition of Medico, launching a CBDC platform, and hiring an ex-Amazon head to the board of Ripple. They did this right after Torres made the judgment that the Hinman emails must be in the public eyes. The SEC has delayed and delayed. Now it's past the statute of limitations. It's over 5 years. Regardless of what's in those emails, Hinman now has immunity. It's weeks, not months.
And this is the part of RippleNet that uses XRP as a bridge currency to instantly settle transactions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. About a little over half of our transactions on RippleNet are through ODL. And ODL really has exploded over the last couple of years. And I mean, one thing that's worth noting, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, the explosion has happened in the face of really the United States being a frozen market. And all of that growth really has been outside of the United States. For us, RippleNet and ODL were really the first enterprise crypto offering to institutions. And we think many others have seen, hey, if you can package these technologies in a way that's solving a real problem, people will lean in. It's only when it's just speculation or it's not clear what problem it's solving that I think companies have run into some trouble.
Garlinghouse said that over half of the transactions on RippleNet are ODL transactions. Despite that the U.S. has stalled, ODL is exploding with growth. All of the banks, all of the integration Ripple has had over the years is just the beginning. They haven't came out with an official number, but the number of partners last time I looked was 300 plus. Think about the recent Medico acquisition. Medico has banks like Citi, BNP Paribas, Standard Chartered, and they need more comprehensive products. Ripple's the provider. Crypto liquidity hub, crypto solutions, anytime value gets transferred, Ripple has a suite of products.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that has been helpful for Ripple is we've always taken a very long view about where the world's going. I've been patient about, building today, but thinking about where the world's going to be in the future. And one of the things that I very much believe, and you're seeing more major players, the CEO of BlackRock recently was talking about how much of traditional assets would be tokenized. Well, as you talk about literally trillions of dollars being tokenized, maybe it's through CBDCs, maybe it's real estate tokenization, maybe it's the existingly defined crypto market. You have to have robust custody solutions. And today, many financial institutions are looking to other technology providers to provide those solutions. I'm incredibly excited about the Medico acquisition and kind of integrating them to Team Ripple, because it really is putting Ripple as the leading enterprise solutions company for this space. And I think we and Medico have a long history of working with financial institutions. We've had tier 1, tier 2, and even smaller payment providers. Medico's customer base includes the likes of BBVA and Citi and BNP Paribas. So I think with Ripple's even customers like SCB, together we think it really is the winning hand to solve a portfolio of problems and make sure we're really delivering for the customer.
Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, was quoted saying that there's going to be trillions upon trillions of dollars that's going to be tokenized. Ripple is controlling a lot of these rails. They're setting up the infrastructure for this move of tokenization. When banks move trillions of dollars into the cryptosphere, Ripple's got their finger in everything. and they're setting up software that uses XRP as a medium of exchange. Ratha Kahneman tweeted out an Atlanta Fed report. And in the report, it says Ripple and Stellar are two blockchain-based companies that are trying to make value transfer cheaper. Ripple provides various services via the use of its native token, the XRP, which is roughly envisioned as an international payment medium or a wholesale settlement token. Finality, formerly Settlement Coin, is also seeking regulatory approval to provide such services. This is a quote taken from the BIS. What really triggers me about this is the wholesale settlement coin part. There's literally hundreds of trillions of dollars flowing through banks. So why is the BIS calling XRP a wholesale settlement coin? Perhaps because Ripple works with banks. They work with the regulated endpoints. Now, XRP is not liquid enough to handle hundreds of trillions of dollars, but I think that's the end goal that we'd all look forward to.
So the customers are using ODL today. They run from the largest big FIs to smaller payment providers and money transmitters, and even in some situations, corporates. The majority of customers tend to be nimble, tech forward, willing to take risk. And the remittance market in particular, as you probably know, has they charge a lot, and sometimes it's not even a great service. We've highlighted customers like Travelex. Trenglo is a partner of ours in Southeast Asia. In the Middle East, we work with a company called People. And a lot of RippleNet volume is serving not just remittance, but also treasury and kind of small, medium enterprise payment use cases. So we've been successful in that. I don't think you want to just take one size fits all for the customers. You want to think broadly and make sure you're responding to the feedback. But we've processed over $30 billion of transactions, and that has continued to accelerate despite some of these headwinds.
It's clear we're witnessing a period of remarkable transformation in the financial sector. Larry Fink recently commented that trillions of value will eventually be tokenized and debt is imploding while a parallel system is being built around it. Ripple has announced a one-button CBDC suite for central banks, hinting at what solutions they may use when the old framework crumbles. As history tells us, fiat currencies always come to an end. An entirely new monetary system could be taking its place once the debt reveals its limitations.
The European Central Bank is celebrating its 25th anniversary in the midst of the fight against inflation. Some 200 guests attended the birthday party at the institution's steel and glass tower in Frankfurt. Among those attending the event were the current ECB President, Christine Lagarde, and two of her predecessors. Also invited was the European Commission President, who was keen to look ahead.
So together with the ECB, we are working on a digital version of the euro to complement our trusted banknotes and coins. The Commission will shortly put forward a proposal for a legal framework for Europe's digital currency.
They are celebrating while inflation soars out of control. Their job is to control inflation. At the celebration, they reveal a digital euro. They reveal an entirely new ledger.
There is this graph about the balance sheet of the European Central Bank and the money that is on there now. And here it is. What I would like to show our viewers and ask the question about is, this is going over 8 trillion euros now. Mm-hmm. And isn't what you just told us about the cryptocurrencies, don't we see a gigantic bubble here on your balance sheet with the euro? And isn't this graph very nerve-wracking?
Well, I can tell you that there is zero crypto assets in the balance sheet of the ECB.
That I know.
Point number one. Well, I just don't want any ambiguity about it.
Yeah.
But you have to think in terms of counterfactual. If we had not decided on March 18th, when we put together the pandemic emergency program and then subsequently increased the volume of commitment that we made to the European Union economies, we would be in a devastated situation. So I don't regret any of that move that we took on that day, which was 4 months into my job, to significantly increase the size of the balance sheet, because that's all we had. Yeah. Otherwise, the economy would have collapsed and it would have been even accelerated by a financial crisis.
You had to do it. It was the COVID crisis. You say that's what we needed to do. But how do you get it?
It will
back?
come. It will come. In due course. Yeah.
How?
In due course, it will come.
Yeah?
No,
But do you
because I
sleep at night when you see this?
Of course I have to sleep at night. And I have to worry every morning. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How?
In due
How?
course, it will come.
Yeah?
There are no more options. The US government is broke. The reserve currency is broke. When the markets break, they'll have no choice but to flood the world with money again. And I rest easy at night knowing Madame Lagarde doesn't want me in crypto, because that's where I am.
We've really built that single API to enable that, so you can plug in and go anywhere. Now, another thing to think about here is the stability. So, customers, when you're using an XRP solution, you're holding XRP for really maybe 4 or 5 seconds. And this is obviously enables us to make sure it's a very low, the volatility risk is very low. If you were using a stable coin and you have transactions that might take days, they haven't always held their peg, and that creates some risk. So I actually am excited by what's been going on in the stablecoin market. And as you may know, Ripple is playing in that market to some degree with the work we're doing with central banks. And I think that actually helps from a regulatory advantage, even that you always know that if you're going through RippleNet and you're going through ODL, you always know that's through a regulated financial institutions. And so the concerns around AML and KYC aren't there.
As the financial system evolves, so too does the underlying society. This has been evidenced multiple times throughout history. Take example Nixon's closure of the gold standard, or the landmark Bretton Woods Agreement. Today, Ripple is delivering software to banks as a Trojan horse of sorts, allowing existing payments platforms to be digitized and easily integrated into cutting-edge technologies within the cryptosphere. As wealth starts flowing into this space, protocols with intrinsic utility will be best positioned to reap its benefits. Transitions are almost always signs of growth, but they can bring feelings of loss. To get somewhere new, we may have to leave somewhere else behind. Thanks everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this, please consider joining my Patreon or my Ghost site, dmjr.ghost.io.